So I refuse to spout false statements taken out of context from a second or third hand source because of moral high ground. He who is free of sin cast the first stone, and I sure as hell am not about to cast any stones. My point in all of this today is gratitude. My point in everything today that I share with you about this is to say thanks and to tell everybody involved how much I love you from the bottom of my sizable and growing and still beating heart. Because I have learned what love really is during all of this. Even in the most dire circumstances, if you just wait, if you just remain open to things, the good in it will reveal itself. But I don't believe our darkest days are ahead of us, and I never have. However, I also don't live under a rock, and it's hard to ignore the many sources that tell us hard times are ahead. These deliverers of news that were created to inform have been compromised. They're not informing us, rather they're putting many into a state of fear. Information and the process of informing is supposed to add unto us, not take away. Its original purpose of informing the public of vital events and occurrences was supposed to aid in adding to our armor. This was supposed to help us be prepared for whatever may come, not hinder us by weakening our resolve. If the informing becomes deformed, it is then unrecognizable as a fortifier of strength. Then, the ones who are supposed to be openly receiving it in order to be better prepared, close off that part of themselves from fear. At which time, no armor, no strength, and absolutely no wisdom can be added unto them. They become merely a target being thrown dull darts. Darts of information with intentions not meant to penetrate into their consciousness, but rather meant to harm their intellect, eventually wearing it down in order to weaken the person. The good news is now the fake news, aiming at each of us with the intentions to dent and bruise us. These dumbed down and dull darts leave us with no points to advance ahead in the game, and in fact, only helping the opponent who wishes for our failure and destruction at every moment. I know Rush Limbaugh once said, "You've always told us it'd be time to panic." It's never time to panic, folks. It's never, ever going to be time to give up on our country. It will never be time to give up on the United States. And it'll never be time to give up. This statement is so penetrating to me because of the fact that it's given with love. And it's meant to inform and reassure. It's saying you shouldn't give up on the things that are causing you trouble because at the heart of it, you would be giving up on yourself. If you begin to give up on those big things, which are actually just other forms of armor existing for you so that darkness cannot easily destroy you. The forces of evil that are destroying your country or your home are not the end goal when it comes to the goals of annihilation. As above, so below. What is really happening is the external representation of how close you are to this annihilation of yourself. Destruction doesn't want your country or your family. It wants you. These things are just in the way. It is you who is the target. And these forces will, by any means necessary, aim for your complete destruction. Especially by means of manipulating everything you hold dear. Just so they can penetrate into you and destroy the love that is the center of the universe, the center of the self. For at the center shines a light more powerful than any darkness could ever equal or compare to. You cannot bring darkness into a lighted room without destroying the light. However, all it takes is a spark to light up a dark world.
You told us when it could be time to panic. Well, is it time to panic? Well, let me just tell you, folks, it's never going to be time to panic because we're never going to give up. We're not going to give up on America. I'm not. I don't think most of you are either. And while we have that attitude of not giving up, we are constantly going to be searching, strategizing, coming up with ways to prevail. We've got the basics. We have millions and millions of Americans that are fed up, can't wait to do something about it. There will be a series of ideas that people come up with based on dealing with the fraud that we know we have to deal with. But America's worth it. America is worth fighting for. America's worth not giving up. And that's why I think whatever form it takes, we will continue to fight for and to defend and to triumph. I know the odds are, they're stiff and they're steep. The American left is made up of a lot of people that hate this country. Hate is a very, very destructive frame of mind. It's a very, very destructive characteristic, and eventually it results in implosion. You cannot survive on hatred. You cannot sustain a movement based on it. We just need to be patient while being vigilant and continuing to fight for what we believe in, knowing full well that we can prevail.